Hey, hello, howdy, how you doing? I've been on a massive Star Wars kick lately, so I figured it's time to revisit what is perhaps the greatest Star Wars game to ever exist. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is widely regarded as one of the most beloved video games of all time. Releasing all the way back in 2005, it offered a variety of gameplay features consisting of a fully canon campaign following the 501st Legion throughout the Clone Wars and into the Galactic Empire. This game also brought along the famous Galactic Conquest that allows you to play as any major army across the, at the time, 6 major Star Wars movies. Want to play as the Empire and squash some rebel scum? You can do that. Want to roll around as a droideka and take over the galaxy as the Trade Federation? You can do that. You also have the ability to play as hero characters like Jedi, Sith Lords, bounty hunters, all that fun stuff. Much like most of the fanbase, 8-year-old me was completely enamored by the Galactic Conquest game mode. If you've recently received a lobotomy and have forgotten what that was, you could try simply reading the name. That'd do it. To keep it simple, you get a map of the galaxy, and take turns moving cruisers to planets in order to attack or defend them. The game ends when you or your enemy control each planet in the galaxy. There's several characters you can unlock with credits earned from winning and even losing battles, along with bonuses that you can apply on a per battle basis. It's, in my opinion, the greatest gameplay loop ever implemented in a shooter, except for maybe Operations in Battlefield 1. And if I can be real for a second, this game single-handedly made my childhood. I have so many memories of playing through the campaign, staying up until 3 or 4 in the morning with my buddies doing a split-screen Galactic Conquest against each other, unlocking all of the special weapons you can get by earning those medals at the end of the games. It's just an amazing game, regardless of how badly they fucked up the re-release. So today, I thought it'd be a ton of fun to sit down and try to beat an entire Galactic Conquest without dying. Years of training has led to this moment. I'll start as a simple clone trooper, and through the power of war crimes and violating a pretend document that doesn't exist in the vacuum of space, I will strategically shit-stomp the droid armies until we have peace, freedom, justice, and security in our new empire. Now, I will be playing with the enemy levels set to Elite, and on the PC, you can set the units per team up to 32, instead of 16, which was the default on the PlayStation 2 back in the day. I also made a new account for this since I've played Battlefront so much that I have most of the special weapons permanently unlocked on my main profile, and to be honest, that probably just wouldn't be fair to play through with. One last note here. This was all heavily inspired by a YouTuber named FrogArchist, who recently did a challenge run similar to this, but on the campaign. Instead of doing his method of restarting the mission on death though, I will have to restart the entire campaign. Why? Well, sure, it's partially because I'm a masochist who enjoys pain and suffering, but also because I just love this game, and if anything, it gives me an excuse to play more of it. For this video, I'll be playing through the Republic's perspective, but who knows, if this does well, I just might have to go back through and complete every Galactic Conquest without dying. And oh, what a shame that would be. Oh, that would be horrible. I really hope that doesn't happen. Please, for the love of God, give me a reason. I'm begging you. Honestly, the biggest detractor from this is the fact that I'm not allowed to play any music from the OST out of fear that, if I do, Disney will smash through my walls like the fucking Kool-Aid Man and sell me into slavery on some third world remote island. I'm getting sidetracked though. Back to the map. This is what we're working with. I want to say there's 10 major planets we need to capture, which is certainly doable. Now, I feel like most people go right ahead and buy a new trooper type, but I always like to purchase a second ship and immediately go on the offensive, starting with Tatooine. We only have one troop type, but so do the droids. The plan was very simple. Get a bunch of meat shields to follow me, and then just run around the outskirts. Surely this was a recipe for success, and nothing bad could possibly happen in the very first battle of the— oh my god. Alright, second attempt. We're going with a new strategy here. I still purchased a ship over Kamino, but instead of attacking Tatooine like last time, I took my original ship to Megiddo. If you don't know where that is, it's where that big-headed alien fuck gets lit up because actions do have consequences in this world, and being a dumbass on the Jedi Council will inevitably come back to haunt you. Anyway, much like the first attempt, I tried to keep a few soldiers by me at all times, but I realized that, at least on this new account, I can only have 1 soldier by me instead of 4 like I was used to, which made it a bit more difficult to make any real pushes for objectives. So instead, I focused on attrition, mainly pushing up the left side of the rings. Things weren't looking too good, and as our reinforcements were being depleted, I took a stray blaster shot to the skull, ending my run early yet again. I've gotta come up with a better strategy. For my third attempt, I purchased a heavy trooper instead of another ship, but didn't realize that I'd started at Kamino instead of Coruscant, meaning this was a complete waste of a buy right now. That didn't really matter at the moment though, it's time for the first victory of the run. Honestly, I thought this was gonna be the one. Maybe I'm just being too aggressive though. I was just so used to having all those buffs and damage boosts and stronger weapons that this really threw me off in the first runs. This was the start I was hoping for. Same strategy as before with purchasing a heavy trooper, but this time they'll actually be useful from the get-go. Everything looked like it was going really well. I was able to capture a command post, swap to a heavy trooper and destroy the turrets, and even began pushing into the back objective to effectively surround the droids.
Our reinforcements are being depleted.
Those damn wrist rockets, man, I'm telling ya. 5th time's the charm, right? Honestly, I just need to win one and I'd be happy. We started back on Kamino, so I went ahead and bought the Clone Engineer Trooper and attacked Tatooine again. Oh, for fuck's sake. I really don't remember it being this difficult on the PS2. This is insanity. On to the 6th attempt. We started with Naboo, but I tried a different approach this time. Instead of buying another class or a destroyer, I went with back-to-tank injections. That way, I'll always be healing myself at all times. It should make this a bit more manageable. We're also starting with a Dagobah invasion. If that sounds familiar, it's the planet where Yoda got so tired of Luke's bitching that he just straight up died. If I'm learning anything about these earlier runs though, it's that holy shit do these guys love their wrist rockets. Is that the difference between normal and elite? Elite difficulty is just spamming wrist rockets like nobody's business? Alright, I'm just gonna stop talking until I get a win, and I'll let you know how long it takes. If you're new here, I write my scripts live, which is why the first, 7 to 10 minutes of this video is just me dying and getting progressively more pissed off each time. So enjoy this little montage of deaths, I guess.
Reinforcements. Keep it up. Clone, watch your fire. The Republic is in control of a command post. Check your fire.
Admittedly, this was very humbling. I was honestly expecting to come in here, record the entire video in like 3 or 4 hours, and get this out within 2 to 3 days, but after spending the last 3 hours getting absolutely skull-fucked before getting my first victory, this is gonna be an uphill battle. At least we finally have Megiddo though. It looks like the Separatists are aiming for Naboo, so I moved one fleet in position to hit Yavin 4 or Kashyyyk, but I don't want to do either of those until I have heavy troopers, so in the meantime, it's back to Tatooine. My strategy for this was pretty simple. Capture the bar right away, and then hang back and let the rest of the troopers whittle down their numbers. Of course, by hang back, I mean sit around just outside of the bar and take on any droids making their way over. The great thing about Tatooine is that as the numbers dwindle, you can find the remaining enemies usually hiding in turrets, which are super easy to destroy. But with that, we've officially won 2 games in a row. Now it's over to Naboo for our first defensive battle of the playthrough. Unfortunately for us, we got stuck with the infamous corner. If you don't know what the infamous corner is, there's a spot on Naboo where if you have the 3rd command post in the top left corner of the map, your troops will just run to it and all group up, effectively shoving themselves in this tiny little corner over here. All it takes is one nade to effectively wipe out a dozen soldiers. Of course, the added issue with this is the more troops you have fisting each other in the corner, the less troops you have fighting on the battlefield. As the numbers continued dropping, I grabbed a second command post just so I'd have time to take another if the first was grabbed, and then hopped in a tank to hunt down the remaining droids. Or rather, that was the plan, until I realized that the tanks blow up if you take their objective. With that information, I just started grabbing command posts, cautiously working my way through the map until, eventually, I saw this. Shout out Infamous Corner for coming in clutch. Now at that point, there was only one enemy left, so I set about grabbing the remaining objectives to force a victory that way, finding the last droid hiding at their final command post. Using the credits obtained from the 2 attacks and successful defense of Naboo, I purchased the heavy troopers and a back-to-tank bonus. I don't think I'm ready to head to Geonosis yet, so instead, I opted to head back to Yavin 4 and conquer the planets up in the top right of the galaxy. This fight was without a doubt the most difficult of the playthrough so far. I hopped in a tank and tried to burn through as many droids as possible, but it simply didn't matter. I'd look up at the score and we'd be down 20 or 30 reinforcements like it was nothing. And before I knew it, we were almost entirely capped and down to just a few soldiers. I was barely able to make it back and recapture our spawn objective before time expired, but looked up to realize that I was the only survivor left. And as it stood now, I didn't have any tanks to climb in, meaning I was gonna have to fight back on foot. Granted, all I had to do was sit back and wait. The enemy would come to me. This would be my Alamo, and I'd defend it with my life. Even after running out of ammo, I swapped to my pistol and continued repelling the droid attack, slowly chipping away at their numbers. Eventually, the droids were almost able to overrun me, but luckily for me, one of them dropped some ammo after exploding, so I used that to fend off the remaining attackers. I felt like that red trooper in the old Clone Wars cartoon. You know the one I'm talking about? During the attack on Coruscant, when he just was holding the line by himself? What a badass. Anyway, they're down to just a few droids, but they're guarding the exit with 2 big-ass tanks. This was a now or never moment, so I took a deep breath and booked it for the nearest tank to hopefully take them both on. Now, I seriously have no clue how I survived that, but I'm happy I did. There was another fresh tank nearby, so I swapped over to that and began hunting down the final enemy, destroying them near an objective. And I was not expecting to have a 74 kill game ever in this playthrough, but I'm proud of it. With Yavin 4 under our control, we're officially up to 6 of the 13 planets conquered. We're getting into their personal space a bit, which means they can do something like spawn a new destroyer and immediately counterattack. All of this to say, it's time for our first space battle. Now, personally, I love space battles in Battlefront 2, and tend to go with a pretty cookie-cutter method every time. First, I like to take out the enemy frigates. Once those are gone, I land in the enemy hangar, blow up their life support, their engines, and then take out their auto-turret defenses. By that point, we've either won or almost won, so all I do then is hide out in their generator room and kill any droids that walk in on me. Now that we've got the droids on their heels, it's time to keep pressing. I purchased the Engineer class and the Combat Shielding bonus and began the ground invasion of Felucia.
Combat shielding bonus purchased. All fleets awaiting orders, sir. Commencing Felucia invasion.
My favorite way to go about this map is to spawn in and immediately go for the 5th objective. You can climb up the side of a tree right here and jump onto the command post that way, effectively avoiding an uphill fight around a winding pathway. This is where the Engineer shines though. You can one-shot most of the time if you hit them in the center, but you do risk also getting one-shotted by a wrist rocket at close range. Luckily, Engineers can also drop health and ammo packs, so you can stack that to have 2 or 3 times your normal health. Pair that with combat shielding and you're damn near unstoppable. My game plan really revolves around holding this command post. The enemy can only come up through one pathway, and it's very easy to hold, so I just sat back and let them come to me while the rest of the clones did the heavy lifting. You can also chuck these Star Wars brand C4 packs off the side of the hill and kill droids that way, which is always a lot of fun. Seeing that we were losing, I hopped into a droid tank and started to fight our way back into the battle, but was forced to retreat back to the hilltop after seeing that I was the lone survivor yet again.
Set 'em up and knock 'em down.
Easy dubs. After securing Felucia, it was over to Kamino to defend the planet. I didn't go into this with any boosts, but I was pretty confident all things considered. All I really needed to do was avoid the middle of the map, since all anyone does is yeet grenades and wrist rockets into that area anyway. Instead, I opted to flank around the right side and put pressure on their easy spawn command post. This is the closest one they have to the center of the map, so if I could take it, we'd gain a major advantage, as we'd control the 3 center rings. It took a bit of luck and calling upon all my Helldivers training, but I was able to solo cap this command post. Next is the back right one. This is typically where the droids make their last stand at the end of the match, but if I could cap it now, it'd force them into the clone chambers, where we could easily slaughter the rest of them. This was much easier said than done though, and I found myself simply trying to just hold the line against waves of enemies. There's very little cover at this command post, and the droids love to sit in these turrets that can two-shot you in the blink of an eye. I tried like hell to hold it, but After a minute or so, I was almost dead, so I fled back to the lower level to heal up a bit. While healing up, I realized that we were kinda kicking the shit out of the droids, so I bitched out and ran back to spawn, letting the other troopers handle them. I've made it so damn far already that I really want to avoid an unnecessary death over a battle we've all but won already. This is what I meant by they love to sit back on the turrets in the top right. There's only 2 enemies left, so I made my way over there and took care of them. With Kamino successfully defended, it was back on the attack, this time on Kashyyyk. I went ahead and bought a sniper class along with combat shielding and enhanced blasters, though I'm gonna save that one for another time. My favorite method here is to spawn on the beach and use the cannon to destroy the enemy tanks. We already have ground superiority with the Wookiees, so there's no need to go down there. I'm much more effective if I can keep the enemy tanks from rolling onto the beach, allowing us to maintain superiority that way and letting the Wookiees clean up any droids that make it through the water. When the turret had too much damage done to it, I'd simply pop out and start sniping the droids on the beach. Might have been the easiest battle so far. 45 kills in just under 6 minutes. I'll take it. We now find ourselves in control of over half of the planets in the galaxy, and the best attack the Separatists are able to come up with is another space battle over Tatooine. Same plan as last time. Blow up their frigates, land on their destroyer, cause chaos. I did almost fuck up here after destroying their auto turret defenses and taking a shit ton of damage from some enemy droids, but the clones came in clutch and finished off the 180 point requirement before I even made it to the engines room. At this point, I'm 100% confident in my ability to win space battles, so I kept my one destroyer positioned over Tatooine while I moved my second one from Kashyyyk and began positioning it closer to Naboo. That way, I can move them together, effectively forming a massive wall that the droids would have to break through to even touch one of my planets. In the meantime, they should just continue to take the bait and keep attacking us on Tatooine. See what I mean? I went with the sabotage bonus for this battle since I don't like raiding the enemy ship with a squad, but here's how it works. All of their vehicles are extremely damaged. Instead of repairing them though, they all flock to the ships, get in them, and then sit in those ships until the repairs are completed at a much slower rate. Sometimes they take off and try to fly out, but they're usually shot down almost immediately. So best case scenario, they fly out and get lit up before even reaching our frigates. Worst case, they sit in their ships and do nothing, giving us complete control and a massive head start in disabling their shields from the outside.
Defenses have been disabled. Our communications relay has been destroyed. Their life support systems have been destroyed.
GG's. With both Naboo and Tatooine defended, they have no choice but to keep trying these space battles. I'm not sure if this was a glitch or what, but the space battle spawned me with 2 LAAT gunships, so I'm not going to use either of them, but I thought that was weird, especially considering they're not even on the landing pads. Anyway, back to business as usual.
Their frigate has been destroyed.
Enemy bombers are incoming. Repeat, enemy bombers are incoming.
Their auto-turret defenses have been disabled. Their life support systems have been destroyed. Their engines have been destroyed. Our life support systems have been destroyed. Score 1 for the Republic.
Attention in the hangar. Rebel all reinforcements. Roger, roger.
Now that my ships are in position, it's time to hit the enemy capital, Geonosis. For this, I went with back-to-tanks, opting to save the enhanced blasters for Dagobah. We're outnumbered here, so it's worth keeping that in mind. Just like how we had the Wookiees on Kashyyyk, the droids have the Geonosian bugs here. For this battle, I used 2 class types, starting with the basic Clone Trooper. It's important to capture the hill on the right side and maintain control of the high ground. That should be a given considering the outcome of Revenge of the Sith, but just in case. From there, it's pushing the droids back with the Clone Trooper before swapping to a Heavy Trooper to deal with enemy vehicles. Now while taking on said enemy vehicles, my position was overrun and I had to battle back to the command post, almost dying in the process.
The enemy has taken a command post. Our second wave of troops is being depleted. Our reinforcements are being depleted.
By the time I'd reclaimed it, we were down to just over a dozen reinforcements, meaning it'd once again fall on my shoulders to win this fight.
Command post under attack. Our second wave of troops is being depleted.
And I found the final droid way back towards our spawn, hiding under our artillery. Another win for the Republic. Once again, the droids tried to counterattack with a space battle, and once again, we repelled them without any issues.
Engines have been destroyed. Score 1 for the Republic.
With all the credits we'd earned from those previous battles, I purchased a Clone Commander class and subsequently flung them right into battle on Dagobah. The battle for Dagobah was a roller coaster. We made the initial push for an open objective, only to lose it to the droids almost immediately. Most of the fighting centered around here though. Here's how it would work. I'd push in, kill 7 or 8 droids, get wounded, retreat back to Yoda's house and heal up, repeat. On the bright side, I'm now getting the burst rifle almost all the time, so the fighting became a lot easier once I whipped that out. It took a few hours, but I'd finally learned to just be patient and let my troops do some of the lifting for me. Granted, I'd be able to load them up with bonuses now for every single battle, but still. We now have control over 9 of the 12 planets in the galaxy. In preparation of some wild battles to come, I purchased the Enhanced Blasters bonus, Back to Tanks, and Garrison.
Garrison bonus purchased.
Up next, Utapau.
Commencing Utapau invasion. Select a bonus for this battle. Enhanced blaster bonus activated.
As the battle started, I grabbed a few extra troops and pushed up the left flank. I was prepared for a lengthy battle to reach the top, but we actually managed to kind of just steamroll through everyone, even managing to hijack an enemy tank to use to our advantage. And by that, I mean we spawn killed them for several minutes like this was fucking Nuketown, before finding and killing the remaining droid soldiers.
Second wave of troops is being depleted.
As we were busy taking Utapau, the Separatists were busy sneaking around the Outer Rim and hitting Coruscant in a surprise invasion. This truly was an even fight though, as both sides elected to use back-to-tank bonuses. If I can be honest though, I love Coruscant. It's one of my all-time favorite maps in Battlefront 2. The center of the map is a giant shit show. The side lanes are awesome, and the soldiers take cover behind the pillars. The library is fantastic, and you have that whole second floor balcony area. I love everything about this map. Hell, even the initial charge from the spawn is just epic. So it should come as no surprise that we absolutely dominated. After the initial push, I swapped over to a clone commander and led a detachment along the left flank to completely overwhelm the enemy forces, securing an easy victory for the clones.
Command post is under Republic control. Enemy reinforcements are decreasing. Being depleted. One shot, one kill.
Galaxy-wide victory is inevitable. All the Separatists can do is hurl battleships at me, but those fall completely flat when I consider space battles to be my easiest fights. This battle was pretty interesting though, just because of how fast everything happened. I was able to do my normal routine, take out their frigate, land in the hangar, auto turrets, life support, engines, but I still had like 30 points to go after blowing up their engines. Now, thankfully, I'd earned my precision pistol by then, so I simply walked out into the hangar and went to town on all of the droids just waiting around.
Score 1 for the Republic.
Aside from Yavin 4, Polis Massa might be the most difficult battle of the playthrough. If you don't know, there's really just one lane that everyone rushes down, and it's just grenades and wrist rockets. The goal is to get in there, score a few dozen kills, and then dip out to let the clones finish everything off. It's not even so much that it's difficult as it is sketchy and unpredictable. All it takes is one random grenade or wrist rocket and the run is over. It doesn't help that both teams went back to tanks either. As the Lane of Death killbox was underway, I continuously bounced in, chucked all my nades, and retreated to the tank room where I got to watch some epic battles take place from just outside the airlock. Unfortunately, I completely forgot that once the droids capture the center command post, this becomes a spawn location for them. Now, I was able to kill about 3 of the freshly spawned droids before one of them got into the tank, forcing me to flee back to the edge of the map. After gathering my bearings, I took a side passage and outflanked the droids, allowing me to farm kills off of them while the rest of the clones began pushing back through the alley, allowing us to eventually retake the command post.
Command post is under Republic control. Another command post for the Republic. Hostile reinforcements are being depleted. This is now under hostile control. Hostile reinforcements are being depleted.
In retaliation for taking Polis Massa, the Separatists launched one final attack to attempt and regain control of Dagobah, using enhanced blasters to do so. This scared me a bit initially, since I didn't want to walk into a shotgun blast with that bonus and end up redoing the entire campaign. So I did what any wimp would do, threw on the garrison bonus and let the clones carry me to victory. Don't get me wrong, I did take a few attempts to fight back, but look at how quickly I get melted.
Looks like you got this down. The command post is under Republic control. The Republic is in control of the command post. Hostile reinforcements are being depleted.
Once our garrison was deployed, I simply ran behind Yoda's house and hid until the battle was over. No way in hell I was about to risk this entire playthrough over a landmine I didn't see. With only one battle remaining, I set my sights on Mustafar and began the ground invasion.
A leader is commanding our forces. Enemy forces have deployed auto turrets. Bullseye! Close! Watch your fire! Sniper, get down!
After several minutes of fighting, a hero joined the battlefield, leading the clone troopers to victory over the Separatists once and for all. I can't play the music at the end since it'll get copyright claimed, but how awesome is this? Like, a full in-game cutscene showing the Jedi being victorious and ending the Sith, along with bringing peace to the galaxy. Games back then were so fucking good, dude. Anyway, here are the career stats from this playthrough. 641 kills, 0 deaths, 1,367 player points, achieving me the rank of Sergeant. This was such an amazing trip down memory lane for me. I've no doubt sunk thousands of hours into Battlefront 2 back on my PlayStation 2 growing up, so getting to relive a lot of those epic battles was so nostalgic for me, and hopefully this video will unlock some of those memories for you as well. Let me know what you liked and what you hated from this video, and if you want to see more. I'd love to go back through and do all of the galactic conquests in one giant video for you, if that's something you'd be interested in. Until next time though, I appreciate you all, go call a loved one, and thanks for stopping by.